Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Basin, and I am honored to be joined with Cowboy Eddie. Cowboy
What's
Eddie, welcome
going
to the show.
on? What's going on?
What's going on with you, buddy? You got your cowboy hat on. Looks like you're doing something fun on your end. How are you celebrating your win from yesterday?
Man, we're out here on my boat. Hey, yo, we out here just, we're out here just chilling today. You know what I mean?
You got a little bit of a victory party going on.
Yeah, it's nice weather today. We took the boat out. We just went for a nice little ride to the point, and now we're back at the dock. We dock over in Southside.
Well, that's about the most Pittsburgh thing to do. You know, you're training out of Pittsburgh, you fight in Pittsburgh, and when you win, you take your boat out and you go to the point in Pittsburgh. Wow.
You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
It is. You are really coming along. You know, you're 2-0 now in MMA. I was talking to your coach Kirk, and he was saying and he was saying about you having a lot of swagger, and a lot of people are excited about you. You had an incredible fan turnout yesterday, and you took on the very dangerous Colton Musgrove. He's technically 1-1, but basically when you fought him, he's 2-0. Because he's 2-0. He fights like a guy who's 2-0. He won his second fight. His first fight was technically a DQ, but he had the guy all types of hurt and just didn't remember that you couldn't punch him on the ground. So he's a short, thick, strong power puncher. What was your plan to deal with him when you were coming into this fight?
To be honest, I think it was you that I was talking to. Or no, I was talking to Ryan. We did a ton of stand-up rounds. I did a ton of rounds with Shaka and Kama. Nothing but stand-up, all against southpaws. And I told him, I said, you know, I had no intentions of wrestling. I wasn't planning to wrestle, but we honestly, I think I only went to I went to jiu-jitsu every week, but I think I only game planned wrestling like 2 days of the camp. You know what I mean? I had no plan to wrestle, and you know what I mean? He got real up close and personal, and it just turned into a wrestling match. And that's where I feel comfortable, but I wanted to be able to showcase my striking, but I never really got a chance to do that tonight or last night, you know? So the game plan was just go in there and strike, but it ended up just turning into a grappling match, and I was ready wherever he took it, you know?
Well, you're such a natural athlete. You know, you didn't come from a lot of the wrestling and jiu-jitsu background. You're a football player with a ton of natural talent, natural athleticism. We were talking about how you had 3 years of college football. And we were talking right before the fight about how all of your college football experience was defensive as a safety, and how a lot of that mentality, the aggression, the explosivity, but having to react and having to close distances really puts you at a great spot. So for you, you ended up winning in the second round by rear naked choke. When did you know you were going to go for that? You know, it was a grappling, you were dominating him. When did you decide to do that?
So in the first round, when I took him down, I was on his back, and he lifted his chin up, and if you remember the fight, I went for the first rear naked,
right?
And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, that's gonna be there again. And we started on the feet again. We got a good exchange, and when I slammed him again, in my head, it was kind of like Deontay Johnson, or I think that's his name, Mighty Mouse. Remember how he slammed him and went for the arm bar at the same time? When I slammed him, I saw it coming. I was like, I'm just gonna go for it right now. And then as soon as we hit the ground, I just shot it. And it was a rear naked, but it was like his head was kind of turned because I was like on his side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like as soon as I took him down and I felt my forearm was on his neck, and I was like, you know what? I was like, this is my second time going for it. I'm just gonna shoot all my energy right now. And I felt his arm go numb, and I was like, yeah, I got him. And
yeah, it was a very unique. You know, we had a hard time deciding on the commentary what to call it, because the way you ended up on your toes, driving your weight down into him, is the side triangle choke finish.
Like an arm triangle, yeah.
Yeah, but it was the arm triangle position, but with a rear naked choke, which was almost twisted. So probably a modified rear naked choke if we want to get specific, but a dominant. And I believe, if I remember right, he went completely out, I think. He went completely out.
Yeah. That was my first time ever putting somebody to sleep. And I remember, you know, I got up and I was really excited, but then I looked back at him and he was like, his legs were twitching. I was like, holy shit. Oh, my bad. I was like kind of tripped out though. I was like, man, he's like actually asleep. You know what I mean? Like that first time, it kind of like trips you out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, and you never really know, knocking somebody out or putting somebody to sleep with a blood choke. Either way, seeing the person actually out is sort of a reminder of what the fight game is. But as you know, I'm sure because of your background and stuff, it's always better to be choked unconscious than knocked unconscious. The body recovers so much faster when the blood's restored. People that are choked out, they come right back. Obviously, you don't want to hold the choke too long. That's why Chip Snyder's in there. But the body comes right back up. We saw some knockouts. The brain has more to deal with. Coming back from a knockout. So, and hats off to Colton. My guess is I didn't get a chance to talk to him. He's a tough guy. Obviously, my guess is he wasn't probably really sure what was going on because it's not the traditional rear naked choke. Couldn't really defend it. You were way under, but you're also not where the typical person is. There was no real way for him to know what to do. So that's probably one of the reasons why he didn't tap. He didn't really know what was going on, and it happened so quickly.
Well, and honestly though, before we went into the fight, like before we went into the cage, one of my coaches was like, dude, like he's not gonna tap. You know what I mean? He's a scrapper, so you're gonna have to put him to sleep. So that's why when I was choking, I kept going, and like I felt his hand come off me, but in my head, I'm like, I gotta just keep going, man, because there's a chance he's not asleep. So I knew it was either I was gonna have to put him to sleep or knock him out. I knew he wasn't gonna give up. You know what I mean? Kid's tough.
Yeah, and then that's what's great. We love talking about the fact that amateur development, and obviously you're a high level amateur training with one of the greatest coaches in Pittsburgh, Kama Worthy and all the guys at the academy. Clearly, you're a great representation of the academy and super exciting fighter with a lot of potential. And you're hanging out on a boat. So it's all good. But one of the things that you'll look back on once you're pro is that you wanted to take on tough guys. There's no value in taking on amateurs that don't have a lot to offer, and all hats off to your opponent and that mindset that you want to compete.
Anymore, there's no fun in fighting guys that, in my personal opinion, even when I street fight still, like I don't want to fight anybody that's smaller than me or not my size. It's the only fun fighting someone bigger than you or someone who's better than you. You know what I mean? You really get a chance to put your skills to the test. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna fight people that I know I'm gonna beat, it's just there's no thrill in that. You know what I mean? You don't really get a rush. You don't get excited to fight those people.
Yeah, and I think keeping that mindset's going to really help you as the competition increases, right? Because it only increases from here, but it gives you a lot of opportunity to keep that mindset that you want to go after guys with really great, better experience, better records, those type things. For you, it looks like I'm not really sure your weigh-in. Did you missed by a little bit, or was it a catch weight?
Yeah, it was my first time making 156 or 155, and it was just I went about the cut all wrong. I was eating M&Ms last week, you know what I mean? Like I was just messing around and ended up missing by 0.6. And a lot of respect to Colton for not making it a big deal or anything. He was just like, I don't really care, but it's definitely something I got to work on for next time. And I'm gonna make the necessary adjustments to change that. I could have made 155 100%, and I know I can moving forward.
Sure. No, I mean that's obviously part. I mean, hats off to Colton, not freaking about the weight, but that's part of the self-discipline and figuring out what you need to do to be at 55. Ideally 55 becomes your home, right? Once you can make it a couple times and figure out your lifting and your training and all the things. But it would appear to me that you would be like a really tough, strong, explosive 55er.
Yeah, I mean I have the perfect coaches for my style. You know what I mean? I got John Lepp, who's my strength and conditioning coach. He's my boxing coach. My program was dialed in for this fight. You know what I mean? Every single day in the gym was just geared to this. I lost weight while I was training, and I still felt strong. He did a great job with that. And then obviously with Conley, and I mean, I got one of the best striking coaches I would say in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and what's kind of fun is Kama at his best UFC, he was a 55er. So it's even ideal that you're working with a guy that's used to making a cut, used to training and fighting at that weight. Not that that's the most important, but you're literally being trained by a guy that went all the way to the UFC and had 2 incredible wins in the UFC. I think at least 1 fight night bonus. So clearly, you're in a great camp for you. that can really take you far. And obviously, it's just sky's the limit, as they love to say. And obviously, next time you'll hit 55 right on it and be able to continue your advancement. Now, for you, the 247 announced that they've got stuff coming up. They've got a Meadows card, which is a casino event, which I'm sure is probably something that's exciting for you. Is that what you want to get on? You want to get on the October card at the Meadows?
I have to do a little more thought about that. My
Sure.
mom's getting married October 13th in Vegas, and
Oh.
I have to walk her down the aisle. So I don't know. I would like to fight that card. There's a possibility at that, but it's still up in the air for me and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, you have to get that figured out. Is it your sister who's getting married?
My mom.
Your mom. Sorry, you cut out right there. Your mom. Oh, that's great. You're walking her down the aisle. How wonderful. Yeah, you may wanna check with your family, because if you're at your mom's wedding, congratulations, of course, to your mom. If you're at your mom's wedding and you're not able to enjoy the activities as far as the food and the libations, it might be a bit tough. So you'll have to figure that out on your end. But still very exciting. Very, very exciting. I was gonna say that there's a card, a huge card in the Cincinnati area at September 9th, but you're a Pittsburgh guy. You sell a crap ton of tickets.
No, I told Hunter I think I went on that card. I told Hunter, he was like, man, we got to keep you in Pittsburgh. I said, man, we travel. It don't matter. My crew will go wherever we got to go, you know? So I'll sell the same amount of tickets in Cincinnati, Ohio, Pittsburgh, wherever. It doesn't matter, you know?
Hopefully Hunter and Jim Mooney are hearing this, because that, to me, that's exciting. You get back in the cage faster. You're able to not worry about, your family stuff with the wedding coming up. And then there's going to be a huge December card already back in Monroeville. You had hundreds of people there, I would say. It felt like you had hundreds, and maybe 100. Do you know about how many tickets you sold?
I don't know exactly how many tickets I sold, but I know I had around like 40 or 50 people there.
40 or 50 people, plus other people are going to cheer for a Pittsburgh guy. So that also made it bigger too. Yeah.
And there was like, I mean, I'm sure you saw like the whole thing with the Detroit guys and everything. There was just, it was good to have all my people there, you know.
Sure, yeah. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you did,
Bring it up.
Well, because one of the things is obviously, I said on the broadcast, we've got to always make sure that the fighting stays in the cage and not in the crowd. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on what happened, and kind of talk us through it?
It was a longer drawn out story that kind of didn't really wasn't really told on Saturday night, but Friday at weigh-ins, these guys came in, and so the kid that fought James was supposed to fight my boy Craig on the card in April, and then he ended up backing out like a day before, 2 days before, something like that. So, I messaged him on Instagram, just chirping him, just trying to be funny, and they showed up at weigh-ins on Friday, and they were like, which one of you is Cowboy Eddie? And everybody was like, it's only one dude with a cowboy hat on. Who do you think it is? You know what I mean? And so they were like, they just started running their mouth, and then they were like, tomorrow night, me and mine versus you and yours. And I was like, and I knew in my head I was gonna have like 100 people there. So I was like, okay, well, I promise you I'll see you tomorrow night. I said, as soon as I get out of my fight, I'll come outside and we can talk. And that's why I made that comment when I was in the cage. But then so I had come out, I didn't even get changed. I walked off the stage and I came around because I was gonna talk to him outside real quick. And my boys were already outside with them, so I was like, I just let them handle that. I was gonna give them a little 3-piece with the soda, but it was already getting handled. You know what I mean?
All I gotta say is I got robbed of the opportunity to interview you in the cage because me and Ryan Middleton were off handling some of the disputing that was going on. So, but Ryan Kavanaugh obviously did an incredible job getting an interview in the cage. That's why I was so excited. I love the opportunity to interview the winners in the cage, and I've interviewed you before. So we'll get back to it. Hopefully this is to bed, and the next time you win inside the 247 cage, I won't be, grabbing people, and I can be in interviewing you. But yes, at least you didn't do the Conor McGregor jumping over the cage at somebody in the crowd, but it was getting a little chippy. Hopefully that's all under control now.
Yeah, and if I had got a chance to get out there, we would have figured it out. But hopefully he can make 55, and then he and I can talk about it, at a 247 event or something.
Yeah, he's the guy you're talking about, the guy that fought first, right? He's not at 55, is he?
No, he's at 45. I think he weighed in with all of his clothes on and like a weighted vest, and he weighed in at like 45 or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that. But if he could, I would love for him to make 55.
Well, I guess that could be a potential future. I kind of have the suspicion that that team won't be asked back to a 247 card, but that's obviously, Ryan Middleton as the owner, he'll make those decisions. But yeah, I mean, I think you were referring to Craig Perry, an incredible guy out of your gym who just is a testament to perseverance, starting off with an 0-3 with a terrible injury that wasn't. It ended up being a loss, but it was an injury, and I know everybody on the team loves him, and he's a great heartbeat of the team. He's a real big encourager, and then he ended up getting a big win in yeah, I think he ended up getting a big win. Yeah, he ended up getting a big win in April. Yeah, yeah. So I understand why you kind of felt that you were talking some stuff because Craig's the man, and somebody backing out of a fight, you really want him to be able to get an opportunity to fight. So
And especially now, now that I cut to 55 for the first time, he had cut. He was in the middle of his camp. He was cutting. It was the week of, and so it's like you're putting in so much work for someone to be like, I'm not showing up. It just sucks.
yeah. Yeah, I get that. That is tough, and that's one of the things that people that watch fights don't understand. That cuts take a lot of work, a lot of effort, and oftentimes there's dieting and nutrition and working out that's happening. It's not just a couple days before the fight; it can be a buildup quite a bit, and that's why a lot of times, a couple weeks out is really when a fight should be fully locked in. At least 3 weeks out, because outside of there, it gets really hard to deal with everything that you guys have going on.
Well, honestly, with that my last one, I went through 4 opponents, and respect to Crump, he took it on 2 weeks' notice, and I was kind of like, I was ready to fight regardless, but I was just like, man, I'm doing all this work, and I might not even fight. I keep losing people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's something hopefully that will get less often as you go up and fight guys with more fights, more experience, guys that have made the walk, 4, 5, 6 times. Hopefully that becomes less common because those guys have put more work in just like you have, and the more effort you put into something, the more willing you're going to show up. Let's talk, if you have a second, let's talk a little bit about another teammate of yours that had an incredible 20-second knockout, and he's a guy that really loves the academy, has credited the academy, and the coaches, obviously, and everybody there for really being his family, saving his life for some of the stuff he was going through. Let's talk a little bit about Chase Boyd, the Croatian crowbar. That was an incredible performance over a very gritty veteran with like 12, 13 fight experience. So what did you think of Chase's performance?
Chase, he's one of the hardest working guys in the gym. They got him teaching that advanced no-gi class. He's one of those dudes. His jiu-jitsu is like top tier. You know what I mean? He's up there with some of the best jiu-jitsu guys in Pittsburgh, if you want my personal opinion. And I was extremely impressed, and I was extremely
They made him one
what's the word I'm looking for? I was just he did what he had to do, and he you know what I mean, in the back he was like, "This is me." I was like, "It's your time, man," and he knew it. And I'm super proud of him. It was awesome to see him get out there and get a win. I was just that whole night was really special for us.
Yeah, it's great when you can be on with multiple people from the same gym. You really support each other, and I just interviewed him earlier today, so there's another interview of me out there with him. So hopefully, when people watch you, they also watch him. But he's just an incredible guy. He ended up making his interview a lot about mental health and dealing with his own stuff. So it's a great interview for people that want to know a little bit more and also deal with the fact that the only fight in life isn't inside a cage. There's a lot of fights that happen in real life outside of cages. So what? You've already mentioned that you'd love to get to Cincinnati. Personally, I'm excited about that. If your fans go with you, that would be incredible. Take on maybe a hometown guy from Cincinnati. That way you're fighting a guy with a lot of support behind him too. I mean, that would be incredible. Obviously, I would assume that's what Jim Mooney would look for. So that way it's like hometown, away from home from Pittsburgh, and hometown for them. So what do you want to close it out on? What's a highlight from the fight, or a thought that you want to leave with me and with the people that will be watching?
I don't know. I don't even think I've touched my potential yet. I don't even think I've done all the stuff that I want to do. I think there's still a lot of room for me to grow, and I'm excited moving forward for my next fight or the fight after this. You know what I mean? For my striking and for my grappling, I'm excited to get out here and get more finishes. And I just think I gotta become a more exciting fighter. You know what I mean? I think I have a lot of room to grow, and I just think I'm excited. You know what I mean? I love the fight, and I'm just excited to get out there and get as many fights as I can. You know?
I agree with you. I just think that if you get any more exciting as a fighter, I don't know if the crowd could handle it, but obviously bring it on because you're already an incredibly entertaining, exciting fighter. But the rounds will get longer once you're an advanced amateur. Eventually, with pro, the rounds get a lot longer. I'm sure Kama's already talked to you about that. And it gives you more opportunity to be exciting, to have time to work, to do more of the striking, to do grappling, and then transition or whatever it ends up being. So for right now, what's important about amateur is finding a way to win, right? So if you end up still grappling and slamming guys and choking them out on the ground with modified rear naked chokes, you keep doing that until you're in a situation where you can show off your striking. So it's just incredible. You keep up the good work. Hats off to you. Best wishes on you guys having a great night on the boat. Take care. Cowboy Eddie, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. You have a good night.
You got it, brother. All right.